Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Nick and it's the Friday chat thing, which is sometimes on the Saturday and every so often not at all. So apologies last week that I didn't have time to do one of these. We're inside yet again. It feels like it's been raining on Friday every day for about the last 6 weeks. I don't know if that is the case, but it's certainly raining today. But should we expect anything else? It's pretty much a winter now, so it's dreary and cold and all that sort of stuff. But you know, you never know. One day I might surprise you one Friday and I actually get out walking again. That is certainly the aim. So thank you for subscribing to the channel if you have already. If you haven't, then please consider doing so because it really helps push up the numbers. Hope you've enjoyed the videos going up this week. If you had a chance to see one or two or all of them, I'll do a quick summary just in case you have missed some and want to go back and see them again. But it's always good to have a nice little look back. On the ZX Spectrum, last Saturday, we looked at Ground Attack, first of all. It's like a scramble clone based on the arcade cabinet, I think by Konami. I might have gotten that wrong, I might be remembering wrong. My favourite scramble clone on the ZX Spectrum has to be Penetrator, because that was the first one I played. But this one's quite interesting. It's got different speed functions. The fastest speed, 9, is too quick for any normal reactions. It's a very basic game, but it's very early 80s, and I always enjoy seeing these types of games. Quite nice zones A through to Z to battle your way through, so I don't think very few kids would have managed to defeat this. Avoid rockets and obstacles in your way through ever decreasingly narrow caverns. Yes. The other game we looked at was the sequel to Rick Dangerous, which is great in graphics. This is Rick Dangerous 2. Now, my preference is still for the original one, which starts off with you being chased by a boulder, but it's got very bold colours in this second game. It's still a puzzle element. Instead of versing Aztecs and various tribes on planet Earth, like ancient Egyptians and stuff, your verses are aliens this time round, but still solving puzzles, pushing switches, going up and down lifts. It's a pre-Tomb Raider, I suppose, and without these games one could argue that these games wouldn't have actually progressed to there. They probably would have done actually, but you need the groundwork, the foundations to start it all off. On Wednesday we do the ZX Spectrum homebrew style games. Some are much better than others, some look good, some play better than others, but they're always nice to see regardless. On Wednesday we looked at Somewhere in Hell, which looks absolutely gorgeous. The music is brilliant, but unfortunately the gameplay needs a few tweaks on there for the playability. But it's a good achievement nonetheless because it's been created with AGD, Arcade Game Designer. It's gone in a slightly different direction. Respect the author for that, but it's very tricky to pull off. The collision detection isn't brilliant, but I still enjoyed the game from what was there, and it was very interesting to see. The author Packability would learn quite a lot from doing that, I would have thought, so it'd be interesting to see if they do any further games to see how they progress. It's got the potential to be absolutely brilliant, but something didn't quite hit. But it was good to see nonetheless. Always like to see the positive in games, especially if it's one person working on their own and it isn't too bad. Gorgeous colours, gorgeous sound, and say gorgeous graphics in that game. On the Commodore Amiga, reviewed over 450 games now, so it was a recap video. Always good fun to do, but always take a long time to do. It just happens that a lot of these types of videos, because we're doing them back from 50, I've been very busy the last couple of months because we seem to get a bank of 50 in a lot of systems at the same time. ZX Spectrum, Atari 2600 and Sega Mega Drive as well, so been a feast of those recently. So show that one some love. Amiga games 401 to 450. The Commodore Amiga has probably got the biggest dearth of games between the great ones and the rubbish ones than any other system. There's a lot of half-hearted ports or ST conversions that aren't very good, but there's quite a few good games in there as well. I think we recently hit Frontier Elite 2, which is pretty good, and there's still a few good ones to land as well. On the Mega Drive we looked at a Star Trek game, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, where you control Benjamin Sisko first of all. Eventually you get to control Odo and someone else, possibly Julian Bashir, I can't quite remember, or Chief O'Brien, or one of them. It's quite basic. I wasn't really expecting this sort of game, but it captures the ambience of the show quite well. Fans of Deep Space Nine, the TV show, would feel at home with this. People that never watched Deep Space Nine would struggle. They might think it's a little bit boring, but basically you have to speak to various characters on the space station to solve a mystery and a crime that's taken place. I quite liked it because I was a fan of the show. I think it's doable with a walkthrough guide. Other than that, it's trial and error to see what you're going to do. Benjamin Sisko's got very odd jumping in this particular game, but anyway, he doesn't do that in the actual show. And the other game we looked at was Commodore 64, which will keep some people happy. It's always good to see these games. This particular game didn't come out on the ZX Spectrum. I don't know why, but unless it's going to be a homebrewed somewhere. But it was Indie Heat. Really enjoyed it on the Commodore Amiga. The Commodore 64 version's a little bit trickier, but all the elements are there. It's based on Danny Sullivan's IndyCar Heat from the arcades. I think it's a very well known particular game, that arcade one. But you drive around tracks trying to win, and you must pit when your team tell you to, or otherwise you might run out of fuel and not qualify for the next race. There was a good bunch of stuff there. Members will know what's going up next week. We do a video every Sunday in the members section. So thank you to the members there who's keeping this running. If you want to become a member, get access to that, then click on the join button. It starts very, very low. Only do it if you can afford it there, but if you can't, don't worry. Just by watching and subscribing it is good as well, because that helps, but memberships does help this thing particularly grow. So I've got a few things I want to talk to you about this time. We'll do a shout out to the members a bit later on. A bit news things. You might have heard these, you might not. I just pick on them at random, really. As you might or may not know, I do a part-time job as well. I used to do banking, but it's just stressing me out. I've done that for 25 years. Switched to a retail, then switched departments again, and I got the most least stressful job I can possibly get. It doesn't pay particularly well, but anyway, it keeps me sort of going with this as well, where I'm on the checkouts. Now, I was on the checkout doing my beeping, and something I didn't realise, I was putting crisps through, and they've limited the amount of family-sized crisps you can buy there to 4. You can't get more than 4. I think, what's going on there? Are we rationing crisps? And apparently this is all because of a shortage of crisps in the UK. I don't know if there's a shortage elsewhere. A shortage of crisps is getting a bit serious. I was thinking, what was all that about? Is that Brexit? Is that COVID? What was that about? But it's not about any of that stuff, which is quite refreshing in a way. The Walker's Crisp Company was upgrading their IT system, and there was some kind of problem which put it offline, was doing the upgrade. And it's caused a big shortage in crisps. If it happened next month before Christmas, there'd be pandemonium. But I was almost in arguments with people trying to put more than 4 bags through and had to explain what's going on and hold them back. But otherwise, the shelves go completely empty, and some people will come in later on and not have any crisps. I think the idea is just to sell them, but anyway. So people might be panic buying crisps going to different sort of places. Now I presume this is going to be solved quite quickly. Have you noticed a problem where you are? By the time of this recording, it might already be off, but it was limited to 4 family bags of Walker's crisps, or all crisps really, Walker's or otherwise, because they thought people might start doing, shock sort of like buying. Yes, but some people will be blaming it on Brexit. It isn't Brexit. Some people will be blaming it on COVID. It isn't COVID. Some people will be blaming it on the lack of lorry drivers. It isn't that either. It was a good old-fashioned IT problem, which I know I've had in various... I had it in a couple of live streams ago, but I think I've solved that in the live stream, because the last live stream went really, really smoothly, so thank you if you saw that. Generally go up on a Tuesday, and this time I had a task manager open. I think before... Windows updates kicked in. I saw that on the task manager, Windows installer nodules or something like that, and I ended the task, and that took a lot away. I think the way I haven't got a normal webcam. I just do it through Elgato, do a capture of my camera, and I think that was using more memory than what a traditional webcam would use. So that's something maybe I can get used have a look at so the CPU isn't working so heavily. There we go. So that was just a bit of interesting stuff. The planet Earth. What's going on there? Everyone's meeting to try and solve the problem. I've got little faith that countries coming together where they're all going in jets to a meeting, or going in a convoy down the motorway. There were 80 cars to go to a place to cut down pollution and save the planet. And then falling asleep, Biden. I don't know that's going to happen. So basically, the countries are agreeing a green plan to cut emissions and try and save the planet, but there's nothing definite there. It's just in principle. Now, so if there's going to be no forfeit directly for them, countries are really concerned about their economy, politicians getting elected and all those sort of things in the here and now. If it takes 20 years for them to get their act together, I don't know. Raising sea levels with temperatures rising because the polar ice caps melt a bit more, places uninhabitable, raising temperatures, fires and that sort of stuff. Now I don't want to be a doom merchant, but yeah, I've got no faith. They need to change the, they need to make people do it more, they need to change the wording of this. So it isn't save the planet. The planet is going to survive regardless if there's humans on it or not. It's gone through different phases in the past, dinosaurs in before then, millions and millions of years. The Earth is a tough nut, it will survive. It's just that man won't be able to live on it. So basically, instead of save the planet is fine, we should do save the human race. As soon as we've got save the human race, suddenly it becomes a bit more urgent then, doesn't it really? People think, oh, it's me, it's not the planet, it's me, I'm in bother here. Do you think anything is going to happen there? But it's not all bad news. The River Thames in London, the capital of England, where I'm sort of like live close to, the River Thames was declared biologically dead in 1957. How's that good news, Nick? Well, biologically dead because pollution was going in it, big industry and stuff. There's been environmental change since then, trying to conserve its stuff. And now, at the moment, the Thames is springing back to life. And it's been seen that sharks are swimming through the Thames. No, not great white sharks. It's no horror movie here. But there's venomous taupe sharks, 6 feet long. They've also seen seahorses, eels and seals. So, you know, I don't know if global warming's helping there. So the Thames isn't so cold now, so they zip in there. Especially seahorses in the Thames. What's going on there? I don't think the Thames is salt water. It's like brackish water, I suppose. Is it? Maybe. So, you know, life sort of like adapts to the new situation. The global warming, of course, the Earth is, I would say, is, in my opinion, is overpopulated. We've gone up to capacity. Last 100 years the population is expanded exponentially. Because we've got better ways of treating disease, we've got better ways of farming to supply food, we've got different supply chains. So, but now the population has grown, we're absolutely at maximum. So suddenly we had less land, or we had droughts, because to support this amazing amount of people, we've got no fail-safe, we've got no 20% fail-safe, so we wouldn't have enough food to feed everyone. And that is a little bit of a worry. The human race is in trouble. Maybe we can eat sharks from the Thames. What do you think? Or seahorses? It's still under great debate, really. Carbon emissions is increasing the temperature of the Earth, but some people still say the Earth is just going through a number of natural cycles like it has done in the past when you're looking at it over a million years. So getting hotter, where the dinosaurs are about, then ice age, and it's going through those phases. But man is maybe contributing to that as well. Quite often you get the hottest temperatures since records began. Well, records have only been going, what, 100 years, 150 years, so who says in 600 years ago they might have been hotter than they are now. It's very hard to tell, but we need to do something, and I think we're just moving that little bit too slow. You might disagree with that. People like Greta Thunberg is always shouting the odds, but I think I don't think she's as popular as she used to be. When you sort of like big industries like China and USA and Russia, then everyone can do stuff, but they're the ones that mainly need to do things. It's down to the small things as well, like when the supermarkets did money for plastic bags, that was supposed to cut down the amount of plastic bags that were being used. I'm not sure if that is the case. They're now more expensive than 5p a bag, but people are still buying them who don't bring their bags to the supermarket. And also as well is that the production of the plastic bags might become a business by some companies as well, because people are still buying them. If you was going to do something a bit more urgent, you just say, right, we're going to ban plastic bags completely. Right, no plastic bags. We just have paper bags. But that hasn't happened. We've still got plastic bags available that people can buy. It's just that it's costing them more money, and someone's making more money out of them rather than saving the human race, let's say, at that sort of like point. But anyway, it's good if you're a shark. It's good if you're an eel. It's good if you're a seahorse living in the Thames. If you're the human race, well, yes, something's gonna happen. We're getting more and more extreme weather in different places as time goes on. Let me know what you think about that below. My information is just gathered from various internet sites and personal opinions. So, you know, I can't see the true figures that a scientist would have. So, you know, I can't come at it from 100% knowledge. It's just what the information's fed to me. If you're an environmentalist, you might know a bit more. Last thing I want to talk to you about before I come to the shout-outs, this is a bit of a YouTube news, and I still don't know how I feel about it. This channel has got a few trolls that come and go. I get all sorts of messages here and there, but I never really answer them. I think one person in particular once said, look, I'm going to thumb down all your videos unless you give me a shout out for this, that and the other, which I didn't, and they thumbed down a number of stuff. But I have to go, the way that YouTube's set up now, I have to go out of my way to see the thumb down, so I don't necessarily see them. When I log in, they're not actually there. They display on the front end, but they don't make any difference to where it is in search. It just makes a difference to the person that thumbs it down. I think if they get a recommendation, it might be something completely different from this, because it's telling YouTube, the chosen algorithm, that they're not into that sort of stuff. But if they keep coming back and back, then they're just nincompoopering. Why am I mentioning all this? Well, as I say, it makes no difference to me. It just creates a reaction. But YouTube are saying they're going to start hiding the dislikes counter. You can still see it if you go out your way as a user to find it, which I won't do. So if a small user or anyone is dislike bombed by bots, it won't actually show up. So basically, it's a waste of time for that person. It's going to render a lot of trolls' life pointless. I think YouTube's one of the last places where you could actually thumb down. No one else physically has it that I'm aware of. So I don't know what they're going to do. I suppose they might be a bit more vocal in the comment section. But generally these people are cowards. They won't want to reveal who they are, but then they'll come under false accounts, I suppose. I don't think YouTube gave the reason for the dislike button is because it will help smaller channels there who give up after getting a number of thumbs. I don't think that's the real reason. I think the real reason is for advertisers and bigger channels which get hit a lot downs, and they don't want that, so they want to advertise on YouTube with no negativity and just show that. I think the Biden administration gets lots of markdowns and all that sort of stuff. Major cinemas doing trailers for a film that might not be particularly good. The problem with it, I didn't mind the dislike button really once you get over it to a certain point. The problem with it is it did used to work as a filter. If you had a tutorial video that wasn't very good, you clicked on it and there was a load of thumb downs, you think, oh, this isn't a very good tutorial. Or if it was a scammer with links there and you've lots of thumb downs, you can tell that. So you're more reliant on sort of like the comment section. I can see there being a big increase in clickbait. I can see there be a big increase in not very good quality stuff. Let's just check that video still on, which it is. I can see there be a big increase in stuff that isn't particularly good because the person hasn't got any fear of getting any thumb downs represented there. So can you imagine if the show X Factor, where all those terrible auditions that come on, imagine if all of those said they were good and they all got a record deal and they all released a record. Then it gets a little bit more tricky for the people that can sing to actually get noticed beneath all the garbage. So although it was good in some ways to stop the dislike trolls getting loads, I think it doesn't really solve a problem. I think it causes more problems than what it actually physically solves. So let me know what you think about that. So I don't think it's happened yet. It's going to be gradual, that you won't be able to see the dislike count on videos, just the like count. So it's a bit pointless to a certain degree. It's all rather nice. I think it keeps stress down for the creators, but sometimes it could work as a tool if you're doing things wrong or right, or in particular it's all about the interactions with people. If I had trolls that would keep coming back, clicking on the videos, that was guaranteed activity, which would help me, even though they're leaving negative stuff. If they can't be bothered, I'm going to lose a percentage of the activity, but there we go. So I was basically using them to grow. Also, although you prefer the positive stuff, and all you lot watching this, that was a percentage on top as well. So we'll see how that goes. Also, so let me tell you, no, let you tell me, that's probably easier, about your thoughts about that. So yeah, I've mentioned a few things, the Walker's Crisps, recap, life back in the Thames since it was declared biologically dead in 1957. The world gradually heating up like crazy, but don't worry, it's not going to blow up for at least a few months. Well, probably not decades, but who knows what's going there. And the dislike button going. This channel is mainly about retro gaming. I really want to play Wreckfest at some point, but I've been saying that for 2 years. But keep tuned. So thank you to everyone that subscribed to the channel. It's been a massive help. In particular, the members. It starts off very, very low, so I think the first tier is $1.99, I think. So if you won't miss that, certainly help me to try and get to the point where I can put more time into this and improve the tech and stuff. But we're still going in the right direction. If you're on the second tier and above, I'll give you a shout out. For anything, your name, or if you want to contact me through Twitter, Jenkins7Nick, or the members section, I'll give a shout out for anything you want me to do. And I'm giving you a shout out consistently for a site you no longer monitor. Let me know as well, otherwise I might just keep shouting it out. So big thank you this time round to the members, the second tier people, thank you, but thank you to the first tier as well. So thank you to Grey Hulk 2, thank you sir, David B73, thank you, David there. Dogs has been a big help in the streams. Thank you, Dogs. Your support is fantastic. Massive thanks to Obed Brinkman, who's a very, very talented photographer. If you want to see the latest things that Obed's been up to with his photography, check out his Instagram site, which is instagram.com/obatphotography. So it's instagram.com/obatphotography. He drops his photos in there. And also on his Instagram site, there's a link to his main website. So check those two out and give them a bit of love. So good stuff, Obed. Hope all is well. Have a great weekend, sir. Big thank you as well to Pete James. Thank you, Pete. Hope all is well. Also as well, one of the best named channels on YouTube, Jason Arnott's Terrifying House of Obsession. Thank you, Jason. Keep up the good work, sir. Big thank you to GTB Films and David Harakawa. Neil Barrett, thank you sir, always nice talking to you, as it is Ratty and Mallard1. Big thank you to Arsone1255, saw you make a stream the other day, so I hope you enjoyed yourself and thank you for your support in that, really appreciated mate. The amazing Alf of Fairweather and Torquay Marder, thank you lads. Jason Smith, Nikki S, hope all is going good, Nikki, and Claire Johnson, thank you very much. The amazing Watho Snorkers, thank you, who runs a Twitch channel. John Roby and Jeffrey Searby, thank you everyone, really appreciate it. The list is steadily growing, which I feel blessed, so thank you for your continuous support of this. Big thank you to Steve Norman as well. Now I will mention about Steve, as I always do. He runs a retro blog called Retro Arcadia, which is getting more and more active there. Site's really improving. Started off good, it's getting even better. This week his blogs are about Gynoog, which is a horizontal scroller shooter. I reviewed this on the Mega Drive, also called Wings of War in some places. Really good on the Mega Drive. He looks at it on a number of systems, including the PS4 and the Switch, I believe. And also looked at another horizontal scroller, which I have little knowledge about, called Cotton Fantasy. There, say Switch, PS4, and a number of things. So he looks at 2 horizontal scroller shooters. Do have a look at retroarcadia.blog. There's quite a lot of content on there now, which is building week by week. He looks at the modern stuff, sometimes looks at the older stuff as well, but really nice to see. So show that a bit of love there. retroarcadia.blog from Steve Norman. You can follow him on Twitter as well. He often does links to the blogs too, so you know when stuff is going up. Big thank you to Lemmy Barnett. Thank you, Lemmy. Steve Q, thank you for all your support throughout the year, Steve. Really appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Big thanks to Phil Hill. Hope you're doing okay, Phil. Chono Baggy, thank you for all your support on Twitter as well. And also Jason Holmes. So thank you everyone, big thank you. Coming up to Christmas, well, I don't have to think about it soon, about 6 weeks or so, aren't we? So there we go, I'll try and get some Christmas stuff up for you too. And as usual, massive thank you to people who've gone a bit above and beyond and support me on the upper tier. So thank you for that. That really awesome. You know, helps beyond compare, really. So big thank you to Rossi Bossy. And if you haven't already, or even if you have a look at Rossi's itch site, which I'll put it up there. This is rossbossy.itch.io. rossbossy.itch.io. Working on a number of things consistently. There's a scramble game on his site, which is a Christmas sort of like I think it's a scramble, or is it shoot? I think it might be a shooter. Anyway, I need to review that because I didn't last year round about Christmas time, so I'll book that in. You see all of Rossi's projects on that site. There's Nifty Lifty 2 that we reviewed and live streamed before. Re-Enduro, a really good racing game based on the Atari 2600 game Enduro. He's done a really good job of that. He's working on a game also called Re-Exevious, which is a shooter, which is going from leaps to bounds. Super 3D Pixel Grand Prix as well. I'm not quite sure what's going on with that at the moment, but I haven't seen too many updates, but I presume it's still there, waiting to be looked at again. So lots of promising stuff. Really talented coder. Check out Rossi's itch site. I'm following on Twitter as well for any updates there. Thank you, Rossi. Big thank you to Colin Hold. Thank you for all your support, Colin. Magnificent, as is Martin R. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A big thank you to Richard Mitten. Thank you, sir. And Tom. Jeffrey Webke. Hope all is going well. I know you might be a bit busy at the moment. I haven't heard from you for a while, so I hope all life is treating you well. I'm just getting my Twitter thing out here because we didn't do one of these last week, so it's just continuing on from last week's one. This is Jules Monkton. Thank you, Jules, for all your help. We've got a shout out for Jules here. Runs a number of sites, but this one is schoolreading70sbooks.weebly.com, which we shouted out before, but do check it out. school70sbooks.weebly.com. Now, this is directly from Jules from a direct message. Now with over 170 separate book series covered, exclamation mark. Well, that is a lot, isn't it? 170. Each series has a link that can be pressed to take you to a list of second-hand copies for sale. Great for finding unusual Christmas presents if you're on the lookout there or want to get any ideas for nostalgia value. Nostalgia is what it's all about. Some of the links, or lots of the links, link to pin interest boards for the books as well, so you get more information there if you're thinking of looking in that area. And there we go. So schools70sbooks.weebly.com. Do have a look, navigate around that site as well for any other bits and pieces if you're looking for general ideas for Christmas. And I've mentioned it now, the big C, Christmassy word there. So thank you once again. It has been, well, I won't swear. It's been dripping down with rain every Friday for the last 6 weeks. I've had time issues as well. But it's good to see you again in this one. There'll be a couple of ZX Spectrum games going up tomorrow. Members will know what they are. A couple of videos on the Sunday too, as well as the members video as well. So thank you if you stayed to the end there. No trees in this one. Maybe I should have got a green screen on it. But anyway. Take care of yourself. The channel is all about stress busting, which hopefully I can do for you. We all work together, don't we? Especially in the live streams, and we have a bit of a laugh. So hopefully there'll be a live stream on next Tuesday as well. I think we should be. It's even going to be Tuesday or Wednesday. So have a good weekend. Have a good following week. Take great care of yourself, as I always say, and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye, E.
And Jenkin.